Treasury's Epstein file details, Mr. President, 4,725 wire transfers. Let me repeat that. 4,725 wire transfers, adding up to nearly $1.1 billion flowing in and out of just one of Mr. Epstein's bank accounts. If you ask me, that is more than 4,000 potential lines of investigation right there. Hundreds of millions more flowed through other accounts. That's even a lot more to investigate. The file shows that Mr. Epstein used multiple Russian banks, which are now under sanctions, to process payments related to sex trafficking. A lot of the women and girls he targeted came from Russia, Belarus, Turkey, and elsewhere.
We all know the Epstein files has a lot of Trump voters absolutely fuming.
I'm gonna go throw up, actually.
Turns out the president's inhumane immigration policies, radical tariffs, and military activity in the Middle East were all not enough for the MAGA faithful to fall out of love with their leader. It was the Epstein files that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
President Trump was elected primarily to go after the deep state. We want to go after the deep state.
It seems like you think your base is stupid.
But why? Why do they feel so betrayed by Trump's handling of this one issue? Believe it or not, it all started back in 2016 with Lock Her Up.
Lock her up is right.
Reflected best in his famous demands to put Hillary behind bars, Trump has either directly led or passively rode the waves of conspiracy theories, telling his followers, they're the enemy, I'm your hero. And it worked.
A stunning upset as Donald Trump triumphs over Hillary Clinton.
Trump didn't slow down after winning in 2016 either. He continued to ride that wave, uplifting conspiracy theories about Hunter Biden, big tech censorship, COVID, and of course, Epstein.
Her friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail.
Oh.
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed?
Jeffrey Epstein had been QAnon and conspiracy theorists' #1 guy for a while. He's the key that unlocks all the secrets. And now that the President of the United States was talking about him, it pushed him into the mainstream. It stayed a topic of fascination through the Maxwell trial, through the election of conspiracy theory candidates like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then as a promise through the presidential campaign.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would.
Remember, Trump was the outsider who was finally gonna call out and go after the Washington elites. He was going to drain the swamp. But now, through his refusal to release the Epstein files, to many of them, Trump has become part of the swamp.
Now, by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it.
And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Marjorie Taylor Greene summed it up well. If you tell the base of people who support you of deep state treasonous crimes, election interference, blackmail, and rich, powerful elite cabals, then you must take down every enemy of the people. If not, the base will turn and there's no going back. The Epstein case is so important to a large portion of Trump's base because it's the foundation that their support for him was built on. It's no wonder now that that foundation is starting to crack. Trump is falling back on his greatest hit.
Huge breaking news just dropped. Trump approved Paramount's $8 billion merger with Skydance, another giant media company. This could be corruption, and here's the reason why. Maybe you saw that Stephen Colbert's show was canceled last week. Well, just 3 days before it was canceled, Colbert called out Trump and Paramount, which is CBS's parent company, for making a deal that looks like a, quote, big fat bribe. Those were his words. So what's that, quote unquote, potential bribe that Colbert was referring to? Trump filed a sham lawsuit against CBS, but instead of fighting it, CBS's parent company, Paramount, paid Trump $16 million to his future presidential library. So you gotta ask, why'd Paramount do that if the suit was, quote, meritless? Well, maybe because they needed Trump to approve their multi-billion-dollar merger, which Trump just did. The appearance of this wink-wink deal basically lets every other company and every other billionaire know that Trump is open for business, apparently happy to accept offers in exchange for favors. On top of that, this deal is bad for competition and could make it more expensive for you to stream your favorite TV shows or movies or sports or whatever. So, just like I've been doing for weeks, I'm calling for an urgent, independent investigation into this Paramount deal to see if this was actually bribery. And make no mistake, these CEOs may think that they can get away with anything they want, but they are not immune from the law. Bribery is still illegal. None of us can be silent about this, because you better believe Donald Trump isn't stopping here. Already, he's seemingly running the same play by suing the Wall Street Journal for publishing a story that Trump doesn't like about his parent relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Look, every single one of us needs to show Trump and the CEOs that we see what they are doing, and we will not be silenced.
I am so exhausted by the ignorant, tired rhetoric, especially here in the South, in the Bible Belt. Nashville had a raid of a Hispanic community. A bunch of people were body snatched. Of course, no warrants, no actual anything. They were celebrating with cigars. Some dumbass fucker on Facebook is like, you need to understand that just like American citizens, they have to have their paperwork and ID on them at all times. No American citizen is required by law to have their ID at all times, but I don't expect you to actually know the law. Then he says, the Constitution only applies to citizens. No, it doesn't. Because our forefathers were smart men. When they wanted something to apply to just citizens, they said citizen. When they wanted it to apply to all people, they said person. The First Amendment, free speech, the right to assemble, qualifies for everyone, regardless of immigration status. So does this thing called due process. And that's where I get real pissed off. Because there's this whole rhetoric of the Democrats are trying to keep criminals in this kind of... First of all, being undocumented is not a crime, it's a civil matter. Second of all, in order to be a criminal in the eyes of the law, you have to what? Be convicted of a crime, which means you get due process and you go before a judge. I am all for someone losing their immigration status if they are convicted of a violent crime and then send them home. That's common sense. What I'm not cool with is body snatching people, shipping them off without due process, because I know that if you can do it to anyone, you can do it to me and people that I care about.
Don't fucking push me. You're taking him before I can take a phone number from him?
You need to stop right now.
You need to stop kidnapping people off the fucking street.
100%.
You just dragged him away when I'm trying to call his family for him.
We're making an arrest. You need to stay
Show
back
me
from
your
my
arrest
raid.
warrant then. Show me your arrest warrant.
I don't need to show you anything.
Yeah, because you're a
not,
liar.
You're not an interested party. You have no right to see that.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people off the fucking street.
We good? Yep.
Yeah, because what? Because someone came over to help them, you have to rush and get them in the fucking car?
You're being obnoxious and a lady.
Not being obstructive. You're being obnoxious.
This is 100%. 100%.
You guys have no conscience.
Yep.
If you're doing something right, take your mask off then.
Yeah, you cowards. And unmarked cars.
Look at me!
I was trying to help them and you have to hurry up and get out of here? F you! Watch out.
Are these more people in unmarked cars? Yep. Yep. Just trying to like trying to run us over.
Yeah.
Say hi!
Like just all these vehicles, just unmarked cars.
Yeah, show your face if you're not a fucking coward. You're doing something that's lawful. Show your face.
Get
out of our fucking city!
Yeah, get the hell out! Go find a job that you can feel good about.
This is different. This is darkness.
Really?
Darkness.
Because I hear this every election cycle.
No, this is dark. We're only 6 months in.
Mm-hmm.
The vandalization that he's done to this democracy and institutions. I mean, eliminating oversight. I'm not just talking about a co-equal branch of government.
What does that mean for the average person that doesn't know anything
It
about
means
politics?
he's eliminated the inspector general's auditing capacity. He's going after Political opponents, removing them from key positions of power and influence and putting in acolytes, putting out people that just do his bidding. He's pushing the boundaries on the rule of law. He's threatening to recall, not just people he disagrees with. He wanted my arrest. Remember, the President of the United States said Newsom should be arrested. They said, on what grounds? He got elected. Said he doesn't like the fact that his political enemy got elected. It means he doesn't say that lightly. And, once a mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. So every time he does this, he's sort of testing these boundaries. And this is what makes me more concerned.
It's time for the trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh, yeah. The trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
Hello. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Is the microphone working? Shall we do a test? Yeah, I believe I do hear myself. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. By Jove. By Jove, I think I've got it. Good morning, everybody. Coming in at you at 11:21 a.m. Pacific Time Zone in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It is currently 92 degrees, expected high of 101. We've got gradual warming the next few days. But it's July. And quite frankly, I am happy. I am happy. You are happy. Let's be happy together. That we're not seeing a lot of 110 and plus degrees, 115s yet. I'll take it. I'll take 101. I'll take 105. Hell, I'll even take 108. I was really worried that this summer was going to be a boiler because the warm weather came early this year. And the last couple of summers, we've hit 100 and 122 degrees in the summertime, in July or August. Now, we still have August to go through. But so far, July has not been that bad. We went through a week or so, or maybe a week and a half of around those 110 degree temperatures, and then it cooled down. We had some just mid 90s, 95s, 98s, and now we've been hovering right around 100, 101. I'll take that. I'll take that, man. That's much more down to average. When we were at 110, 111, we were above average. Anyhow, how you guys doing today? Glad to see everybody here. Thanks for waiting for me to get started and get going. This is the House Bronx After Show Hangout, but it's open to everyone, even if you weren't watching House Bronx Show earlier. By the way, it's open to everybody. Open forum. So let me see. Let me get to the chat. I see Sandy Foltz was first. Again, had gone swimming. Sandy Foltz is just a swimmer. Just a swimming machine. Non-useful 2. Hello, I'm second. Yes, you are. Non-useful 2 says, TJ, I just watched a podcast about Vegas taking a nosedive with vacationers. Revenues are down. The amount of people are down. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, they're not. It's not 100%, but I'm saying that's 100. It's 100% accurate. That I don't know about nosedive, but it is noticeably. It's noticeably less people, and I think statistically, I've seen anywhere from reports from a week or two ago where revenues and things were down like 6% and 8% or whatever. Now I'm hearing it's more like 15 to 20%. It's increasing as we go along. When you go from same period last year type of deals, because the last couple of years have been really, really a boon, I guess you'd say. And I think it was because coming out of COVID, 2023, kind of the first full year coming out of COVID. And I think people were just ready to party, ready to rock, ready to vacation, ready to have a good time. So 2023, it was really big. 2024 was really big, but it didn't really surpass 2023. And you could see already, like people were settling in and had, kind of got all that stuff out of their system. But 2024 was still very, very busy and very profitable. And 2025, especially, Trump has been in office since January. So, I mean, you've seen it be just a little bit slower, a little bit fewer people, just by the naked eye, not even looking at statistics, just by the naked eye, you can see, yeah, it seems a little down, but it was still very busy. Even a downtime in Vegas is still pretty busy. So for me, as a layman, I guess, or not having really any vested interest as far as being like a CEO of MGM or Caesar's Palace or any of these other big conglomerates now, these big corporate institutions that, Jesus Christ, they have a fucking shit fit if they lose a fucking penny, But so I'm not in that category. I'm not in that group. So to me, yeah, it just seems a little light, but it's still busy. I can still go out and drive a cab and be busy all night long. So to me, it doesn't really matter. But to the fucking corporate bean counters, they're fucking losing sleep at night. They're fucking pissing themselves and shitting themselves and any other type of thing you want to think of, because they're going to lose a few pennies. And of course, I suppose when you're talking about a yearly multi-billion dollar industry here in Vegas, the casino industry, by pennies, I guess it would be millions, multiple millions, but they're still fucking making fucking money hand over fist. So don't let them fool you into thinking that, the poor fucking casinos are all going to go broke. Not yet. They're still making money hand over fist, man. It's like free money. People coming here and gambling, it's like free money to them. Because the house, always has the advantage. Anyhow, moving along. Damon Dog, the big dog, is here. Good to see Damon Dog. Hello there. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Jolie's here. Hello, Jolie. Thanks for being here. Do appreciate you spending your time here with us. Paul J is here. I watched some of that podcast as well. Paul J, home skillet is late. Am I home skillet? Is that me? Am I the home skillet? Belfast Bob. Hey, Belfast Bob. Thanks for being here from across the pond. Thank you so much. I think it's like 8 o'clock in the evening or something like that over there where you're at. Or 5 o'clock or 5:30-ish. Wes Webb's here. Hey, Wes, I'm here, but sleepy. Oh, Wes Webb is a bit sleepy today. He's sleepy. CR's here. Hey, CR, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Roxanne Epstein. Hey, good to see Roxanne. It says, what's happening, Trucker John and Lounger? We only have one Lounger, apparently. Carrie C's here. Hey, Carrie. Good to see old Carrie C in the driver's lounge. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We're on a bit of a deficit right now, which is not a good democratic thing to be. We got 32 watching, only 27 thumbs ups. That's putting us at a thumbs up deficit. And you know how I feel about deficits. I don't like them. So let's get those thumbs ups going, get us back into at least a balanced budget, at the very least. Aaron West is here. So we are at full mod capacity. Thank you, Aaron and Jolie, for being here. I do appreciate it. Alvin Stube. Hello, Alvin Stube. If I didn't say hi already, there's Alvin Stube in there. Roxanne says, Aaron West, happy birthday. Oh, is it Aaron's birthday? Happy birthday, Aaron. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Aaron. Happy birthday to you and many more. Happy birthday, Aaron. Let's see. I'm skipping on down. Everybody is kung fu fighting. No. Let's see. I'm just seeing all the same people I've already said hello to. I've said hello to everyone that there is to say hello to. Andrew Petrie's here. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on by. He says, I would totally have angry sex with her. Was that the redhead in the intro? I'm guessing, because, yeah, I got a little weakness for redheads myself. If you know what I mean. Oh, if you know what I mean. I'm not sure if that's who we're talking about, though. That's just where my mind immediately went to. Let's see here now. Let's see what we got going here. Gulf Marine, TJ, right in that House Sparks wave. Hang 10, TJ. Yeah, wow, look at it. It's really working. 32 watching. That wave. What's a big old wave we got going on there? Nick Rich is here. Nick Rich, 56. Hello, Nick Rich. How you doing, mate? I don't know. I know you're from Canada. You're not from jolly old England. Nick Rich, 20 past the hour, so I'm about 11 minutes behind you. Just 11 minutes behind. It's not much, is it? Let's see. Roxanne Armfield's here, so I think we have both of our Roxannes. Roxanne Armfield and Roxanne Epstein are here. Oh, look at it, right next to each other in the chat. Gulf Marine says Governor Newsom is the president of my United States. Teresa TAK is here. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming on by. Gin Up the Base is here. Let's fucking go. Hello, Gin Up the Base. There you go. Getting us started with the enthusiasm. He's enthusiastic. This Gin Up the Base. Very enthusiastic. Belfast Bob says Anna Conspiracy was mouthing of Newsom on Mr. I Like Wood podcast. Oh, okay, that's a reference to fucking Tucker. And Anna. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm figuring it out. Anna Conspiracy. Okay, I get it. See, I'm not completely stupid. I'm just a little slow. That was, we were watching that on, I guess, House Sparks yesterday, wasn't it? That interview, if you want to call it an interview. Let's see who else we got in here. Who else has got in here? We've got Teresa, we've got Belfast Bob, we've got Nick Rich. Everyone's here. Everyone's kung fu fighting. Everyone, kung fu fight. Teresa TAK number one is the top of the, seems to be at top of the leaderboard. The presence there. This is as I see here. Nick Rich coming in at number 3. Scrolling on down. Come on now. Aaron West, 81 in the mountains. Nice 81 degrees in the mountains. I saw the picture from Aaron West. I guess it was on Facebook. Very beautiful view. Very nice, very green, lush view that Aaron has, where Aaron lives. Joey says the humidity here has been brutal this summer. And that, my friends, is why I will never live in a place that has that kind of humidity. People always say, why do you live in the fucking desert? Well, because I'd rather have the heat than the humidity. I don't like humidity. Anyhow, enough of that. West Web only 80 here, but the humidity is insane when it doesn't rain. Golf Marine says, I remember being at Hoover Dam. It was 100 degrees and raining. Yeah, it probably cooled it down. It was 120 or something before it rained. Jim Debate says, yes, looking forward to the Zoom, but I see you didn't get your way on selecting the movie, laughing out loud. Oh, you guys were going to Zoom again and watch a movie or something? I don't Zoom. I don't really Zoom. I don't like Zooming. Teresa TK says, after Tuesday, it's going to be nicer tips here where I live. Thank God. Hate when it gets in the upper 80s. Wow. Wow, aren't you something? Upper 80s and you're complaining. I would love it to be in the upper 80s here. Hey, Brooklyn SK, SJUAK, Tricks and the Rules here. Hey, Brooklyn, good to see you. Brooklyn says, I guys. I think you're behind. Not going to be picky. Paul J says, super nice day in Davenport, Washington. Mr. Bob Newell, I can't hear you. I can't hear you either, Mr. Bob Newell. Mr. Bob Newell. That's a funny name. Belfast Bob, same here over here in Ireland. No wind or breeze, humidity nightmare. You guys know that humidity. You guys. Roxanne says, restart. I can hear TJ fine. Oh, Mr. Bob Newell always just says that as a joke. Roxanne. That's his little joke. And if it's not a joke, then restart your computer. Mr. Bob Newell, have you revisited your favorite toilet? Oh, talking about the when I went to take a leak at the Spearmint Rhino Strip Club. Is that what we were talking about? I believe that's probably what you're referencing. And no, I have not. I have not been back there since. Teresa TK just wanted to get on and say hey to everyone heading out soon, going out to a few stores and go out to eat after. Sounds like a day. Nice. Your day is planned. Dibby Dog, what movie are we watching? I wish it was 2073. I've never even heard of that movie. I've heard of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then what was the sequel? Like 2021 or something? Teresa says, take care all. Stay safe and cool. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by, Teresa. You're probably already gone already because I'm, 13 minutes behind or whatever. But have a good day out and about. Mr. Bob Newell, Vegas got a new reputation. What's the new reputation? It's got a new reputation. Surfer Norm's here. Hey, Surfer Norm, good to see you. In the old driver's lounge, Surfer Norm says, hello, everybody. It's moderate at the Ventura-LA border, 75 degrees. It is possible that Vegas has 50% more casinos than they really need and the current price in big hotels. It'll all even out in the end. If Vegas isn't going to be able to sustain the number of hotels it has, then they'll close. They'll close. If they need more, they'll build more. It just is the way it is. I think Vegas, so far, well, it just depends on how much further that Trump will tank this economy. Some people are saying that they haven't seen Vegas as bad since the pandemic, but I would beg to differ. I mean, I was on the road most of the time during the pandemic, but when I was home, when I was here, this place was a literal ghost town in 2020. I mean, it was really, it was a ghost town. It was eerie and weird. The place was half dark. They didn't turn on half the lights. They were saving money or something. The casinos were empty. I mean, literally empty. It's not that way now. It might seem that way because it's been so busy the last couple of years, but it's nowhere near. These are not pandemic levels of, turnout or whatever. It's not even close. They would have, believe me, they would have loved to have they would have been ecstatic if they had the amount of people that are here now in 2020. They would have loved that. So Gary, can I call you Gary's here? Hey, TJ says, hey, Gary, can I call you Gary? Back at you. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in. Mr. Bob, have you driven anyone famous that you could make public? No and no. I mean, well, just one no. I haven't driven anyone famous that I know of. I mean, I think the guy that I dropped off at the mansions, I don't know if he was famous, but I think he might have been really rich. The mansions are what's behind MGM Grand. In case anyone missed it, they have this. They call it the mansions because it looks like a big, huge mansion. Apparently, it's broken up into villas because when I dropped him off, I had to tell the gate I was dropping off this guy at Villa 18, and I don't remember his name, and it's not a famous name. It's something like not Ken Paxton. Isn't that? It wasn't Ken Paxton. That's the guy. Isn't that the AG or something from Texas? But it was something like that, and so maybe he was a big poker. Maybe he might be a famous poker player or something. I don't know, but whatever he was, I think he was a whale. What they call a whale. Because I think he was dropping a lot of money at the tables, and I think his main game seemed to be poker that he was talking about. And I'm pretty sure, if I understood correctly, that they were comping him for that villa. They put him in the villa, which is not cheap, very expensive. But I don't know if he was famous. I don't really know. So maybe there's that guy. Other than that, there's no one. No one famous. And that guy, I'm not saying that guy was famous, but I think he was probably really, really rich. He gave me a nice tip. Gave me a hundy and said, keep the change. And the fare was only like $13 and change. So that was nice. Christina Weibel's here. Hello, Christina. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on into the old driver's lounge. Always good to see Christina in here, hanging out with us. Belfast Bob, Trump's went bankrupt. Yeah. Jen at the base says, Trucker John, as you well know, TJ, it's not really gambling if you know you're going to win. It's more of an investment, if you will. It's gambling for the gamblers. Mr. Bob Newell, I forgot. Do I split a pair of eights? You do whatever you want, Mr. Bob Newell. But of course, the rule is you always split eights and aces. Aces and eights. Always, 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 always. Belfast Bob says it's 7:30 p.m. out there in I guess in Ireland. In Ireland? Are you in Belfast, Bob? Because your name's Belfast Bob. Robert Perez is here. Yo, Trucker John, good day to y'all. Good day to you, Robert Perez, down San Diego way. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in. Always good to see Robert in the driver's lounge. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you very much. Mr. Bob Newell, you got impersonations locked and in the chamber? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, what are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. Anyhow, let's see what do we got here. Squirrel Girl's here. Hey, Squirrel Girl. Thanks for being in here. Thanks for coming into the lounge. Squirrel Girl says, saying hi to all. I'm listening, but will be AFK. I don't even know what AFK means. That's how out of the loop I am. I'm out of the loop with all these various abbreviations. I'm out of the loop. Nick Rich says Chubb's 2 golf courses in Scotland are nowhere near Loch Ness. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Nick? Mr. Bob Newell says, you always get my thumb and the finger. Well, thank you very much, Bob Newell. You're going above and beyond, I guess, apparently. Wes Webb coming in with his $1.11 super chat. Thank you, Wes Webb. Yippee. Give you a thumbs up, and I guess I give you a heart. I give you the heart and the thumbs up. Always. Surfer Norm says, howdy, Roxanne Armfield. I recently read about inflation. They sell water for 10 to 20 bucks. When I went to Tahoe to ski, we went to the casinos for 49-cent breakfasts. What decade was that? I mean, I get it. Things have gone up. Prices have gone up. And you used to get some really good breakfast deals, steak and eggs, for $1.99. But my memory of that is like in the 70s. Okay? So I'm just curious, what decade did you go skiing in Tahoe? Because, prices do go up. Now, granted, I think in these last 5 to 10 years, things have gone up in Vegas really ridiculously high, where it is much harder to find good, like cheap eats or meal deals or whatever. But I don't know if it's fair to compare 2025 with 1975, or at least expect it to be at those prices or near those prices, But I do agree that things are very expensive in Vegas, and it's not, you don't see as many deals like you used to see in the 70s and even the 80s and stuff. But just remember, we're not living in the 70s anymore. Look, Dragon's here. Hey, Look, Dragon, good to see you. Look, Dragon says, if Jeffrey was a sub 18, meaning that he liked girls under 18, is that what that means? Sometimes I have to decipher these things. And Donald is a Trumpedo? Oh, I get it, because he's a pedophile. Can we just say he's a pedophile? And be done with it? William's here. Hey, William, good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in to the Driver's Lounge. There's AM. AM's here. Waiting for FM. Still waiting for FM. That kind of didn't sound right. Mr. Bob Newell, have you driven the ice roads? I've driven on ice, but not the ice roads. If you're talking about, like, I don't know, Alaska or something, or Canada, up there in Canada, But I've driven on roads that have ice on them. Hope that answers your question. God, I love it when the AC turns off, because that's the world's loudest AC. MJ Daniel, good morning to you. MJ Daniel popping on in. Hey, good to see you. MJ Daniel from up in Washington State. I always say that so we don't confuse them with being from Washington, D.C. just in case there's any confusion. MJ Daniel says it's going to be in the 70s up there in Washington State. Look, Dragon says, come on, Rockstar. I thought I wouldn't be here. Okay. Roxanne Epstein said it's freaking miserable with all the humidity. West Webb says 78% humidity outdoors. Yeah, I'll take the dry weather any day of the week. Danny, if you want dry heat, stand behind a bus. I'd rather not. I'd rather not breathe in all the fumes, all those diesel fumes. Mr. Bob Newell, what are the Vegas odds of Trump granting immunity? You mean immunity for Ghislaine Maxwell? I don't know. There might be an odds board or whatever somewhere. A sports book that has that. I don't know. But what do you guys in the chat? What do you guys think the odds are of Trump granting, and by immunity, I think we're talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. Nick Chris says, yeah, but it's a dry heat. Yeah, it's dry heat. I'd take a dry heat over a humid heat. I mean, I think I would. I guess it depends on how humid. MJ Daniel says, I experienced that kind of humidity in Japan. No thanks. Look, Dragon says, beautiful day in Oakland, California. Can't wait for my girlfriend to get off work so we can spend time together. Oh, that sounds nice. Nice to spend time with your girlfriend and nice to spend it in beautiful Oakland, California. The Bay Area is beautiful. One of the most beautiful places in the country, for sure. Mr. Bob Newell, can you do a little Joe Pesci? Do I amuse you? That was little. That was a little. Do I amuse you? Brooklyn says humidity hits you like a punch in the face when you walk outside. Just oof. It's like bash. Boom. Squirrel Girl says current temp where I am is 95, but feels like 108. Humidity state in Florida. Lived here my whole life, so I'm used to it. That's true. I mean, there are people that come here to Vegas that are from humid places and have lived there their whole lives, and the dry heat just fucks them up. They say that they get bloody noses and their lips get all chapped and cracked, and they're like, how do you do this? And I'm like, well, I've lived here my whole life, so it doesn't even affect me. CN's here. CN says, hi, TJ. Good day to all. Just finished with Hal. It's a busy day for me, so yes, more work awaits. Well, at least you're staying busy. And then it says, happy birthday to Aaron. I don't know who that is. Is that CN's still? Or, I mean, it's weird. Like there's no little... I thought that'd be too long of a chat to do, but maybe that was still CN. Was this happy birthday? I guess it is still CN. I guess it just seemed like you got a lot of stuff in there. You got to be able to get in there. Love Dragon says, I'm lonely. I miss her. I'm like a 50-year-old puppy. Well, I think that's sweet. That's when you miss her, and then you'll be very attentive when she gets there. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hey, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hey, happy Saturday back at you. DBSH. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Rosanna says, I have 50% humidity in Northern California. Yay. See, 50% is not too bad. I think 50%, I don't know if you really start feeling it, like really oppressively until it starts getting up into the 80s and 90s percentiles. Nick Rich says the questions can be funny, serious, or even off the wall, but the answers given are why we tune in. Is that why? Because you just never know what Trucker John's going to say. He's kind of like a box of chocolates. And Mama didn't tell me that. She didn't say. She never said, Trucker John, just like a box of chocolates. You never know what's going to happen. But she should have. Maybe. I don't know. Keith Polite. Hey, Keith Polite. Keith Polite's here. Good to see Keith. Thanks for joining us in the Old Driver's Lounge. We got 50 watching, only 46 thumbs up. We are operating currently at a deficit. That's not what Democrats do. Let's be good Democrats and get us to at least a balanced budget. Anyhow, Keith Polite says, highly recommend the movie Network. Oh, yeah, I saw that. Super relevant given the South Park Paramount Tussie. I haven't seen that movie, though, in decades and decades and decades. I mean, I remember I saw it in the theater with my parents. You know, I was a teenager, I guess. What year did that come out? I think I was 15 or something like that. You know, so it wasn't like I was a little kid, but I remember seeing it with my folks, and I liked the movie. I thought it was interesting, and of course, you know, kind of one of the main scenes when some spoiler alerts, but I'm going to allow it. You know, when he yells out the window, "I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore," and that was kind of the I don't know. It was a big scene in the movie, you know, and I think it was kind of what the whole movie was about. You know, how much more are we going to take of this bullshit? But I think there was a scene where Faye Dunaway, I think, was having sex with William Holden. And I remember my mom, you know, my mom was so funny, like, for that kind of stuff, you know. And even though I was probably, I don't know, 15 or 16 or however old I was, I don't remember. But she didn't like the fact that I was watching that, you know. And it was it's not like it's a porno. It's a fucking movie, you know. So it's not like they show a whole lot. But they were having sex. And I remember my mom. I don't think she covered my eyes. I remember there was a movie. There was a movie. If you ever saw The Night They Raided Minsky's, and that was a little bit earlier in the 70s, and I was a little bit younger, I think. Maybe I was like 12 or 13 or something. And we saw The Night They Raided Minsky's, and all I remember about that, I guess it was set in the 20s or something, kind of Prohibition era. I think they had speakeasies or whatever. I don't know. And they had, but this is about, I guess Minsky's was sort of like what do you call those shows, those variety shows or whatever. But they would have showgirls. Where they would do, I don't know if we call it a striptease or whatever. But and so the whole movie, there were really, I don't remember there ever being any nudity or anything. But in the very end of the movie, and there's a spoiler alert, guys. This is a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to be spoiled about The Night They Raided Minsky's, then you might want to turn the volume down for the next few seconds. But I guess during the end, when they finally do the raid, I guess one of the main singer dancers like dropped her top and showed her tits, and that's when all hell broke loose with the cops. They're like, we're blowing their whistles and they're raiding the place. And my mom, when that happened, I remember my mom just put her hands over my eyes, you know, so I wouldn't see the tits. And I remember I got a little glimpse of the tits, and then my mom's face was in front of my head. And then I remember I moved. I'm like, mom, you know, because I'm like, come on, you know, this has been a boring ass fucking movie, and they finally show some tits, and you're gonna, you know, cover my face. So I don't even know how I got to this subject. Okay, spoiler alert, turn back your volume back up, everybody. You didn't want to be, because I know all of you have been just getting around to seeing The Night They Raided Minsky's. I don't know how I got to that subject. Oh yeah, we're talking about Network, and I was talking about Faye Dunaway having sex with William Holden. Basically, you know, she's doing cowgirl on the guy. So I might only, if I ever watch Network again, it might only be to see Faye Dunaway writing William Holden. I don't really care about the William Holden part. I thought Faye Dunaway was quite attractive, actually. So, as a 15-year-old or whatever, how old I was, I just and I know that probably was it MJ, whoever brought that up about network. Oh, it was Keith Philippe. You're probably like, you're missing the whole point. It wasn't about Faye Dunaway having sex with William Holden. It was about the corporatization of the media, particularly the news media. And how it's not about the truth. It's about the dollars. I may have missed that point because of thinking about Faye Dunaway. If you want to see a hot Faye Dunaway, go watch Bonnie and Clyde. Also, by the way, very sexy Faye Dunaway, and very, very historically inaccurate from the photos I've seen of the actual Bonnie. Nothing like Faye Dunaway. Nothing. The real Faye Dunaway looked more like freaking the lady who played Throw Mama from the Train. The Mama in Throw Mama from the Train. That she could have played Bonnie. It would have been more accurate. But anyhow, I digress. I digress. Roxanne Epstein says I do all my running around in the morning and I chill at the house in the afternoon to avoid the humidity and unbearable heat. Fall is so much nicer. Yeah, that's what you got to do. Is try to get your work done, before it gets too unbearable, and then just wait for the fall because it could be pretty nice in some of those areas in the fall. So that's kind of what we do here in Vegas. July and August could be pretty unbearable, although it hasn't been too bad so far. This month. But if you can get through July and August, then the fall and winter and even the spring are really, I think, pretty nice here. Very nice here. So, Nick Rich, Bidenomics worked great. They made us the envy of the world, economy-wise. Look, Dragon, you don't even want me to tell you what the weather is like right now because it's like bragging. I know the Bay Area is awesome. If I could afford to live there, I might consider living in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. But if I had my druthers, it would probably be more down the San Diego way. Roxanne Epstein says, "Do you use GPS app or do you have all the routes memorized, Trucker John? Are you talking about for cab driving?" I'll use my GPS, my maps, Google Maps or whatever, if I'm going off strip, and even if I'm pretty sure where it is, I'll just put that on my map just to make sure I'm taking the right route or make sure I'm thinking of the right place. But I would say 95, maybe even 98% of the rides I do are just up and down the strip, and I've been doing that for 3 years now. Going back to Uber and Lyft and everything. So I know the strip pretty well and all the ins and outs of the best way to get to the various casinos. So I don't need anything for that. But sometimes you'll take someone who's going off strip, either to a residence or maybe to some business out off the strip. And usually I'll know pretty much where it's at and how to get there. But I'll just ask them, okay, what was the address? And then I'll just go, hey, Erie. Except I'll have the S in front of it. Route me to la da 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 da, and then I'll just have that running, as I'm going. Keith Lee says, thanks, Roxanne. Epstein network is prophetic, needs to be seen by all and ASAP. Yeah, because you'll see, I think you might see Faye. I forget if you actually see Faye Dunaway's tits or not. It's all simulated sex, so I don't know. But she looked pretty hot. And the Keith Lee's like, shake. I know Keith Lee's just shaking his head right now, going, "You're missing the point, Trevor John. You're missing the point. This was not about Faye Dunaway's tits. Okay, that's not why everyone needs to see this movie." Anyhow, I already explained why earlier. So, Rosanna said, "My husband and I drove around in our cab in Aspen, mellow yellow cab, calm, Lindsey Buckingham, Neil Young, and Jack Nicholson." So you and your husband had a cab? I take it you for a business? You drove a cab in Aspen, and you picked up Lindsey Buckingham, musician of primarily Fleetwood Mac fame. Neil Young, of course, Neil Young is Neil Young, and Jack Nicholson, the actor. Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, Aspen is, a big place where celebrities go to ski. Nick Rich says maybe one day John will have house parks in his cab. Maybe. Marsha's here. Hey, Marsha, good to see you. Thanks for dropping into the old driver's lounge. Hey, look at there. We've got 48 watching and 58 thumbs ups. We are operating at a surplus. Good going. We are operating as good Democrats should. Marsha says, sorry I'm late. I had to charge my ancient phone a little. That's okay. Better late than never, as my dad used to always say. Jen at the base, Trucker John, I've been called a whale. I wonder if we are talking the same thing. Now that came from my ex, if that helps with the context. Look, Dragon, I'm not talking about the area. I'm talking about the weather. Well, I think the area and the weather are both nice. Rosanna said smoked a doobie with Neil Young and more with Lindsay, laughing out loud. I hope you weren't driving and smoking doobies. Silverdome Indian reservations are also building casinos around SoCal, and they are expanding a lot and much closer. Yeah, there's a lot more competition all through the country than what there used to be. That's for sure. Hello, Marcia. And there's Mike H. Hello, Mike H. Wondering when Mike H. was going to pop in. Brooklyn says you okay? Trixie LaRue says, Surfer Norm. I stayed at Mohegan Sun Casino for 2 days. Fun, fun, fun. And it was fun, fun, fun. Until my daddy took my T-bird away. I don't know what gently said that Scott Roxanne. I must have skipped something about getting caught with her hands in the cookie jar. Okay, do I have to scroll back? I must have missed something. I read the thing about the whale, which was kind of a weak comment, if you want to know the truth. I don't know. I don't know what Roxanne got all upset about, but I don't want to go too far and mess up my chat. Not be able to get back. MJ Daniel says that Clint Eastwood almost ran into me skiing in Sun Valley at the bottom of a ski lift, waiting in line for something hot to drink, and I talked to Bruce Willis for a minute getting lunch there. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Now, I did tell you guys, I've told you guys a story about how I was on the ski lift with, is it Peter Graves? The guy from Mission Impossible, you know, the had the white-haired guy. I shared a ski lift with him one time up in Big Bear, California. I believe there are a couple other Big Bears around the country. So Big Bear, California. That was back in the, God, what was that, the 80s or something? David Dog says, Ugh, just took me 10 minutes to get into a hearing aid battery package. Ridiculous. I can hear now. Well, that's good. At least you can hear now. So you can hear my wonderful voice. Non-useful 2 says, I invested in a condo on Isla Mujeres, Mexico, with the Caribbean Sea at my back door. The island of women has become pretty gay on the southern tip, so beautiful an Irishman can brown up. Alrighty then. That's a mouthful there of info. Oh, you're mad about that you were Roxanne was mad about the whale comment? It was that was just a joke. I think that was just a joke. Nick Rich 1146. So gosh, I'm like 24 minutes behind. Caleb Guillory, what deals? You know, that's what my point was. I said there aren't as many deals. There are still some deals, okay? There are still some deals. Right now, because tourism has been dropping, there are a bunch of places that have, or a few places that have dropped their, what do you call it? Fees? Those fees that they always tack on. They've got some deals, some flat rate deals going on. There are some deals going on. You just got to look for them. David Wheeler, breakfast in Las Vegas, $2 on Fremont Street, 70s, right, 50 years ago. Okay? You also made $2 an hour or whatever. So, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. Nick Rich, 70s were great. My teen years. Reuben Michaels, steak and eggs, 99-cent Reno, 1986. Was that at every single place in Reno? Or was that at certain places? Just like here, there are certain places where you can find some deals for a steak and egg. You can get steak and eggs at South Point. I think like for $6.99 or $7.99. Which in $20-$25, a $6.99 steak and egg breakfast, I think is a pretty damn good deal. Okay. Look, Dragon says, have you ever noticed that when prices go up, they never come back down to the exact amount they were before? Yeah, usually I guess that's how it works. Kayla Guillory, still nobody talking about Trump and John Casablancas, his other pedo buddy with the teen pageants. Yeah, it should probably get that should probably get more play. That should get more play. Jim Blaze Slug Dragon, yep, started noticing that in the late 70s. I didn't know what was going on, but you are correct. You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir. MJ Daniel, we had a couple of epic ice storms back in the late 60s, early 70s when I was in grade school. One of the few times they closed school for weather. Caleb Guillory says 100% chance Maxwell gets a pardon. Oh yeah, that's how far I am behind. Yeah, I was asking like, what do you think the odds are? So Caleb says it's a sure thing. It's a 100% sure thing. Surfer Norm says Brooklyn SKU okay, Trixie LaRue. I'm cheap. I never saw gambling. This casinos used to comp drinks. Now they give tickets. Well, I'm 77. So what? Also, the service fees are what are BS. Yeah, all those fees are BS. A lot of people don't like them. And I've noticed, I think there are some people running some special. I think Resorts World is one of them. Maybe I think Sahara just announced they're doing away with the those, what do you call those fees? They're like $55 extra temporarily. It's like they're doing it like through the rest of the summer or through until September or whatever. You know, and I think that has to do with the fact that tourism is down. Gary Cuddico, Gary Maxwell isn't going to bring anything new to the table. She will be pardoned in 2029. Are you saying like when Trump is just before he's out the door, um, before he leaves office or something like that? Why would he even do that? Once he's gone, what does he care? Bay, Sugar John, facts on the beauty of the Bay Area. Spent my first 37 years in San Francisco, Berkeley, Oakland, Alameda, and Clayton. Yeah, it's a beautiful area. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful area, beautiful weather. You know. Belfast Bob, it shattered me earlier. Was my youngest grandkid's 4th birthday. Lots of running around. We're about footy, pushy, her in toy cars and bouncy castles, hot and sweaty hot. Yeah, but that could happen. Here we have Volte Mervgal. Wait, Volte Mervgal? Sky Smiling Sun. So thank you for being here. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat before, so thanks so much for being here, by the way. So I'm kind of it's kind of a mouthful. Full timer. Okay, yeah, there we go. Like I said, I'm not stupid. I'm just slow. Full timer VGal, Sky Smiling Sun says, if not for people like you and others, I wouldn't make it through these times. I live in Santa Margarita, California, and it's beautiful here. I'm a 69-year-old traveler that's now runs a ranch. Wow. Well, that sounds pretty amazing. Santa Margarita, another beautiful area, California. So, it's kind of a blessing to be able to live there and run that place. So good for you. Good on you. And thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. I hope you make sure you like, subscribe, and share and all that good stuff. And keep coming in and hanging out with us. Just a hangout. We're just hanging out, man. It's a bit of a hangout. Look, Dragon says, every time Joy comes home, she complains that I pay too much attention to her. It sounds weird, but it actually makes sense. Well, it's sweet, and you love your gal there, and you miss her, and you want to, but you kind of gotta be a little careful not to be too clingy, I guess, you know what I mean? Just, but still, it's kind of a sweet thing, Don O'Leary's here. Hey, Don, good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in. The old driver's lounge. Haven't seen Don in a while. David Windler's here. Says hi, Don and Ruben, and John, of course. Hello, David Windler. Good to see you. Yeah, Wes had said maybe Colbert and Stewart would buy Comedy Central. And then Damon Young says he doubts that they have that kind of money. I don't know. Comedy Central, I mean, I'm sure it's not cheap, but Comedy Central is not, Paramount or whatever. I mean, or it's not CBS. They might be able to get that kind of money together, but who knows? Burlesque, yes, that was it. Thank you, Nick Rich. Going all the way back. That's how far I am back in the chat. Talking about the night they raided Minsky's. Yeah, it was like burlesque shows. Thank you, Nick Rich. Or Wes says vaudeville, burlesque. Yeah, I think the Minsky's one was more burlesque than it was vaudeville. And I don't even remember. It's so long ago. I may have seen the movie maybe one other time after that, somewhere along the line, along the way of life. But, we're talking early 70s, I think. I think Jason Robards was in it. And some gal that showed her tits. She might have been kind of famous. I don't remember who it was. But, yeah, it was burlesque. I just remember it seemed kind of long and boring. And the only payoff was when the girl dropped her top. And then my mom covered my eyes. After a boring ass, 2-hour movie or something. So the Soulcraft, hey, the Soulcraft. Hey, Soulcraft, good to see you. Soulcraft says Jessica Lange in the King Kong movie was probably my first crush. Her or Blondie, aka Deborah Harry. What's Deborah? But anyhow, yeah, I remember that. I remember Jessica Lange. Yeah, kind of a small part, but a big actress. I don't know. Talking about first crushes, like in movies, mine might have been Faye Dunaway in Bonnie and Clyde. But I think I was only 7. I guess a 7-year-old can have a crush. I don't know if that was it, but I mean, I remember seeing Bonnie and Clyde in the theaters, and that was in the '60s. And I remember thinking, "Wow, she's pretty. She's pretty." Which is not the real Bonnie was not. At least in the photos I've seen of the real Bonnie Parker, whatever the fuck her name was. Like I said, the throw mama for the train lady, she could have played Bonnie more accurately. If you've ever seen Throw Mama for the Train, and the lady who played Mama, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen Throw Mama for the Train, and you don't know who that lady is I'm talking about, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. But you can always Google. You can always Google that shit. You know what I mean? How do you know what I mean? How do you know what I mean? Jen at the base says, Trucker John, I can't believe your mom covered your face when you were 27 years old. Apparently you weren't listening. I said I even specifically mentioned that I was probably 12 or 13 or something. So you need to clean the wax out of your ears, buddy. Jennifer Lays, what's cowgirl? Well, ask your girlfriend to show it to you sometime, or explain it to you, or whatever it is you guys do. Luck Dragon. I barely watched Beetlejuice too. Luck Dragon and your question marks are just hilarious to me. Nick Rich 12 noon. So I am 23 minutes behind, just so you know. Just so you know. If you guys were responding to things and I'm just now getting to it 23 minutes later, that's why, you know. I don't know what you guys are talking about as far as Beetlejuice is concerned. I don't know what that's about. Duff asked about Pussy Galore. Oh, going back to James Bond. Oh, I remember those James Bond movies. Yeah, in the 60s. I was a little kid. They were always some hot Bond girls. That's what they called them, folks. They didn't call them Bond ladies. They called them Bond girls. And they weren't girls. They were women. So before we get ready to, you know, protest. Brooklyn says, don't stress when you digress. I'm going to ignore that comment from Damon Dog. That was pretty gross. Comment. West Webb, I was out yesterday, so what could I... so that I can stay in today. Tomorrow is supposed to be even worse. Soulcraft says, I bought a freaking 30-foot by 4-foot Walmart pool. Our upstairs AC was out, which is where we sleep. Insane. We fixed it now, though, after $3,500. Wow. Ouch. That's an expensive fix. Ouch. Ouchie on that one. David Whittler says Bay 68 degrees right now. See, the Bay Area is it's trippy, isn't it? I think it's warmer in October in the Bay Area than it is in July usually. And all you Bay Area folks can let me know if that's a true or a false statement. I guess I don't know. Look, Dragon, Kramer versus Kramer. Digress. I thought we were talking about funny movies. We were talking about movies that my mom covered my eyes with, or didn't like me seeing because of either the nudity or the simulated sex. That's what I was talking about. Robert Perez says, come on down to San Diego, Trucker John. I'll take you to your place in Mexico. TJ, laughing out loud. I love San Diego. By the way, I love it down there. Soulcraft says that's why I think Vegas is the perfect city for driving for pay. Airport to Strip. Yeah, the airport to Strip ones are good because they're locked in. They have these zones. I mean, if you're going to the Strip, they have zone 1, 2, and 3. So it's an automatic either $21 or $25 or $29. If they're going off Strip, like from the airport, say out to Summerlin, it's even more. You know, it could be a $50 fare or something. And up and down the Strip, you're busy all the time. Yeah, I think Vegas is a great place for taxi cabs and for rideshare. Oh, Brooklyn, Trixie LaRue says, TJ, are you sleeping better now that you have your own place? You must feel so much better. Well, to tell the truth, I really, my sleep was always good. You know, but I understand, I guess, the gist of it. Yeah, I do feel relief. I do feel relieved having my own place and, you know, and not having to pay every week, you know, like over there. That was like almost like a weekly rent, you know. I mean, it was every week you were paying almost what you pay, or like half as much as you would pay, or at least half as much as what I was paying at the previous place. So this is a little more locked in. There's things I don't like about it. As far as it being so far out, I'm like 7 or 8 miles further away from the strip. I'm that much farther away from work. So it's more expensive to get to work. It takes a little bit longer to get to work. All those kind of things. Things aren't as easily accessible here. It's a little bit further walk to get to a store or something, or even like a fast food place if I want to grab some fast food. All that stuff. I haven't even done it yet. I've just been using delivery services because I'm so fucking lazy. Even though it's only like a half a mile probably walk, but I don't feel like walking a half a mile in 105-degree heat. But come fall time and winter time, and when it gets cooler, I'll probably be making the walk over, because there's like a Del Taco right down the street. And there's a Burger King. There's an Albertsons. I'll probably get one of those old people carts, the old people pull, or whatever, and I could load it with groceries. But yeah, I do feel it is a relief being here, instead of having to every week make sure I can come up with that $430 plus all my other living expenses. So this is a relief, and it's a really a blessing that I was able to get approved and do it. So yeah, I feel better. Nick Rich, did all the green sparklers watch the Flappers show? I didn't watch it yet. I did see. I got the link sent, to my Gmail account. I just saw it this morning, so I didn't watch it last night. But I'll check it out. Robert Perez still haven't found a ticket booth for tickets to the Tijuana Donkey Show. He's sad about that. I think you just walk around and they'll lead you there. Wes Webb. Oh, I guess Mr. Spock is here. I didn't see Mr. Spock. I did skip down a little in chat, so if Mr. Spock is here, live long and prosper till Mr. Spock. And Michael McAndrews is here. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thanks for dropping on in. But Wes Webb says, hey, Mr. Spock, I bungee some irises together, or they fall all over. My peach tree is so full that it has braces underneath it. Why don't you pick those peaches? Why don't you pick you some peaches? Make some peach cobbler. Something like that. Make yourself a peach cobbler with a couple scoops of vanilla ice cream. Come on, man. What are you thinking? Marcia says, Sunday and Monday West dew points at tropical levels. Yuck. MJ Daniels' brother has tickets to Neil Young. Neil Young, he can't sing for shit, but he's got some good songs. David Windler, I was a DJ in Aspen for a ski season. Very rich. Yeah, the rich and famous go up there, man. Hell yeah. Michael McAndrews, I've skied in Aspen. There you go. Nice. Luck Dragon, time is the only thing that I care about in life. Time. Whoa, whoa, whoa. MJ Dennis is better to look good than to feel good. I think that's a bit tongue-in-cheek. A little bit tongue-in-cheek. A little bit tongue-in-cheek. Look, Dragon, time is the only thing I care about in life. Is your phone acting up again? Marcia said, Trucker John, I'll be able to donate some in August. Marcia, do not donate to me. I believe you are on a fixed budget, if I'm not mistaken, right? Fixed income. I don't want anyone to donate to this channel, to this live stream, if it's gonna, cause any type of hardship or whatever, guys, don't do it. Just don't do it. Like, subscribe, share, commenting. That helps us get out in the algorithm, and that's it's a free way to help the show. So, Marcia, if there's any, but I mean, it's up to you. You know your life, you know your budget, and you know what you want to do. But I'm just saying that I don't want anyone to donate to the show if it's going to cause any kind of hardship or a shortfall in your budget or anything like that. Just please don't. But I do appreciate every time in any way that you help the show, help me out with the show here. David Dog, it's my friend playing. We're sharing a pizza. I'm gonna edit that. We're sharing a pizza for lunch. And pizza just doesn't sound right to me. Roxanne, don't scroll back. I know. Well, see, that was 20 minutes ago too. 6 degrees of separation. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardonnez-moi. Pardonnez-moi. MJ Daniel, do you like movies about gladiators? Not exactly a PC joke, is it? But they put it in the movie anyway. Well, that was from Airplane, right? And I don't know. I don't think that's not PC. I mean, it was about. Was that Peter Graves, by the way? The guy that I come to mention it. Was that Peter Graves? And that was the guy that I shared a ski lift with. Talk about 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But I don't think that was an un-PC joke because, I mean, it was just about, it was about, I guess it was, well, it maybe was because, I mean, it was kind of about almost like almost like a pedophiliac kind of a thing, like the way he was talking to the kid. Yeah, I mean, but it still was funny. I mean, yeah, I thought it was funny, but pedophilia is not funny. So maybe I deserve to go to hell now. I don't know. At least if I do, hopefully not for that. I don't know. Donald Leary says, I like the idea of knowing where you are going with or without GPS, laughing out loud. Drive somewhere once I know where, funny like before GPS. I've gotten to know this area pretty well over the last few years, this whole Vegas Valley area. Mr. Spock is here, says, I bummed a quarter off of Roger Abbott. I don't know who that is, for a phone call from the Royal Canadian Air Force at the Toronto airport. Are we supposed to know who Roger Abbott is? Is this just some Canadian celebrity who didn't make it, like Michael J. Fox or Jim Carrey? Who the fuck is Roger Rabbit? Oh, it sounds like you're saying Roger Rabbit. Anyhow, Brooklyn, aka Chicks LaRue says, thank God for GPS. I traumatized my daughter and myself with my bad sense of direction. Look, Dragon says, we always camped at Kirkwood and Tahoe. Yosemite 3 times? Maybe 4? Yellowstone 1 time. Death Valley equal next? Yeah, those are great places. I've camped in Yosemite lots of times. I haven't done it in a long time, but all through my childhood and even when my kids were little, we went to Yosemite, camped. I love Yosemite. It's my favorite place to go as far as like camping and shit's concerned. Yellowstone, I've been to Yellowstone. I don't think I ever camped at Yellowstone. I remember just going to the visitor center and seeing the geysers, Old Faithful, and all that kind of stuff. Not sure if we camped there though. Death Valley, I've sort of driven through maybe the outskirts of it, through the highway that kind of runs through there, but I've never really like gone out and ventured into Death Valley. You know. David Willer, we should all know where north is all the time. I try. I'm skipping down. I'm skipping down in the chat because I know I'm a half an hour behind. Donald Leary says Fleetwood Mac is releasing an old LP. I think Fleetwood Mac, they are one of my favorite groups, one of my favorite bands. I like Fleetwood Mac a lot. Probably top 20. I would probably put them somewhere in my top 20, not my top 10, I don't think. Probably somewhere between the 11 and 20, I guess. MJ Daniel, my buddy Jim Bass, he's a working pumping gas, and he makes $2.50 an hour. This song was 1979. I guess bass rhymes with gas, so my buddy Jim Bass, he's working pumping gas, and he makes $2.50 an hour. Michael McAndrews, most important to remember, which way is up? Brooklyn, SJU, aka Trixie LaRue, says all the men involved with Epstein, and only the woman is in jail. Well, Epstein was in jail. He didn't last too long. But I get your point. I mean, you know, there's a lot of dudes that probably should be in jail for this. A whole bunch of dudes that should be sitting in prison. Big Hook, the Big Canuck. I did skip down in the chat, guys, and so if I skipped a lot of chats, just know it's because I need to catch up a little bit. Big Hook, the Big Canuck says, just watched your intro. Well done, Trucker John. I truly hate Trump and his fascist takeover of the U.S. by white supremacists operating under the title of ICE. Thank you, Big Hook. Big Hook. Thanks for watching that and enjoying that, or whatever. But I think if you notice that one video where these supposed ICE agents are grabbing the people and throwing them in cars, those aren't fucking. I don't care what anyone says. Those are not like official ICE agents. Those are, as far as I'm concerned, those are Jan 6ers, or those are part of the Boogaloo Boys or whatever. They're white nationalists that Trump has given the authority. They're operating under some sort of special authority given to them by Trump. Those are his own personal goons. That's what I call the Trump goon squad, because you saw they're wearing blue jeans and khakis, and they're wearing these polo shirts, and they strapped on some gear. They got a flak jacket that says DEA on it. But it's, they're not, these are not your, fully sanctioned, highly trained ICE agents. These are goons. These are the goon squads. These are the Jan 6 goon squad that Trump has given authority and given them some sort of a budget so they can go into these places. They go and they just rent a bunch of cars. You saw all those cars they were using. Those are all probably rentals from Avis or whatever. And they're just grabbing people. And it's horrible what they're doing. Just grabbing people with no probable cause, no warrants, no nothing. And that's why I put those videos in these intros. That's not the first one that I've done. I've done quite a few of those to keep showing what's going on. These are the Trump Jan 6 goon squad. And then I followed it up with Newsom was saying this is different. This isn't just like when every election we say this is the most important election ever. This is different. This is scary. This is existential to our democracy, to our republic, to our Constitution. And that's why it is so important that we make sure we get out and vote in 2026 and in 2028. And I know some people say there might not even be elections. I don't know. But we need to do whatever we can in our power to make sure that we do have elections. We cannot go to sleep on this. We cannot sit by idly on this, or we won't have elections. So that's all I got to say about that. Big Hook, how far behind is he? I'm like, I don't know, 20 minutes probably behind Big Hook. A big hook, a big hook, a big hook. Oh. Mr. Spock 420 alert, so I might be about, I think, 24 minutes behind. I think I'm about 24 minutes behind, Big Hook, Big Hook. I'm going to skip down a little bit, see if I can catch up with y'all. Mark Krasner's here. Comedy Central is Paramount. Well, I think he meant, was it Wes or somebody or Damon Dog, to buy that division, because everything's sort of divisioned off, you know, like to buy that piece of Paramount from Paramount to buy Comedy Central. So, you know, that's a possibility, I guess. Marcia says, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I visited Sequoia National Park and Yosemite back in the day. The IDJIT can't even pronounce Yosemite. I guess is that the idiot Donald J. Idiot Trump or something? I don't know. Yosemite. We used to call it Yosemite as a joke, you know. Maybe Trump was joking because he's so funny." Duck Dragon Redwoods need to change their name. Roxanne Epstein says, "I think my sports interpreter Jen had to go hang out with family. I think that means they're on the B list." Okay. Brooklyn SAU, aka Trixie LaRue, says, "Oh, it's hot. It's getting hot here. Turning on my new AC. Let me check out my new AC. Congratulations on you getting your air conditioning. Because I know that it was just too miserable without it. So I'm glad you got that AC." Wes Webb, Skydance now owns Paramount. La-ti-da, la-ti-da, la-ti-da. And with it, I guess, Comedy Central. Mark Krasner, Skydance is Larry Ellison, second wealthiest man on earth. His massive government contracts because he's chairman of Oracle Corporation. I don't know what's going on with my chat. Not you guys, but I mean the chat on iPad. It just keeps moving, and I'm trying to read, and it moves, and I'm getting pissed off about it. Wes Webb, Shirley Jones, and the Music Man, and of course Julie Andrews and Mary Poppins. I'm kind of mid-thread because I don't know what you're talking about as far as those people are concerned. Roxanne Epstein. Ooh, I remember Mama from the movie. Wasn't she in the Goonies too? Yeah, she was the mean lady, kind of a mean mom in that movie too, or a mean lady, bad guy. Big Hook. I think it was Ann Ramsey. Yeah, I think Ann Ramsey. The Ann Ramsey from the 80s or 90s or whatever those movies came out. I guess 80s. Would have been a more accurate depiction of Bonnie Parker than a very young, beautiful Faye Dunaway. But, you know, it's a movie, and you know, you glamorize things. You know, I guess, apparently. Mr. Spock, like the Larry Sanders Shows starring Gary Shandling. I'm a bit mid-thread. I'm mid-thread on that. I'm a bit mid-thread, so I don't know what you're talking about. Michael McAndrews, John's 20 minutes behind, Mark. Luck Dragon, I'm trying to remind you of things that happened with short memory because that is the first thing to go when you have early Alzheimer's disease. I'm saving your life. Okie dokie. Thank you if you're saving my life. PDG 200 LBFB says the night they raided Minsky is 1968. Laughing out loud. So maybe I was only 8 or so. And my mom covered my eyes. And I still was mad. I still wanted to see those titties as an 8-year-old. Spoiler alert. There are some titties. It's a long, long wait. If you're watching that movie to see some titties, it's a long, long wait. Belfast Bob sent 5 Truckerdon membership. Thank you, Belfast Bob. Belfast Bob, you get a yippee. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you for doing that. That's pretty awesome. So MLR got one. Tam's Simple Life. Jay Sands. Patrick Scarpati, and Jackie. Now, I've seen Jackie before, so that's cool. But those other 4 names, I don't think I've ever seen before. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Belfast Bob. Maybe those folks will come in and say hi and stick around and, be lifelong trucklers. That's the whole point. So thank you, Belfast Bob. Appreciate you. Wes Webb says, I've had a leaky faucet in my bathtub for a couple of years. It was getting so that it lost a gallon an hour. My God. Get out a fucking monkey wrench or some channel locks and just replace the fucking washers probably or whatever. I don't know. Or call out a plumber. My God, Wes Webb. I know you can afford a plumber. Come on. Wasting all that water. Wes Webb, I turned off the water when I went to bed and called the plumber who fit me in a week later. Okay. So I'm glad you called the plumber. Wes Webb had to rip out all the old, maybe plumbing, and install modern. $1,000. Well, Wes, I know you can afford $1,000. But still, yeah, it's a big expense. But those pipes were probably 50 fucking years old or older, so it was about time. It needed an upgrade. So now you got some nice new pipes in there, and maybe they'll last you another 50 years. Nick Rich finding a smooth flow in the chat might require some adjustments. John skips chat greetings, others than saying hi. Maybe ignores some other stuff to skip along my comments for a start. I just, sometimes I got a needle drop, Nick Rich. Sometimes I just got to go in there, needle drop, and see what happens. Yeah, Marcia says, definitely no good for your water bill, Wes. Hope it's all good now. Damon Dog, plumbers are expensive. Yeah, well, I know. But at some point, you got to, if you can't fix it yourself, then you got to call them. Wes Webb, I'd better not. The plumber's daughter-in-law is a friend of mine. So I'm a little bit thread. I don't know what that was about better not. Rosanna says, Aaron, I just found and paid my membership, and I still don't have my name in green. Maybe you have to go out and come back in or something. I don't know. Nick Rich, 12:30. I'm 22 minutes behind in the chat. Jackie, hey Jackie, yes, says Belfast Bob. Thank you for the membership, everyone. Okay, got to get back to work. Well, thanks for that. Thank you, Belfast Bob, and thank you, Jackie, for coming on in and saying hi. Always good to see you. If there's any way you can work and listen at the same time, that would be great. But if not, have a good day at work. I am 20 minutes behind, so you might be already gone and off to work. Janelle Walker is coming on in. Hello, Janelle. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming on in. Don O'Leary says, Wes, I got problems with upstairs bathroom and main pipe. I need a company with a payment. This could be major. Yeah, if you don't have the money, it's you got to find someone to help you or something. Yeah, because that's you don't want those plumbing problems are the worst. Because you don't want your place to get flooded or or have all that water damage or anything like that. So I guess Aaron's taken off and Jolie's coming back in, so that's good. Gary Gary, peaches are going for about $1 each. Why don't you sell your peaches, Wes, and then that'll pay for your plumbing bill, and save some for yourself to make yourself a nice peach cobbler with some vanilla ice cream on the side. Doesn't that just sound delicious? A freshly made homemade peach cobbler, and you heat it up, and then you scoop out a couple scoops of vanilla ice cream. Mm-mm-mm. Roxanne Epstein says, then I realized I don't want TJ to read that out loud. I must be high. Yeah, I guess I skipped that one, apparently. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise. David Dogg doing the song. Was it President of the United States of America or who did that one? So I'm going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches. I forget the tune. Mark Krasner, are you a trucker? I would say I'm a former trucker. I still have my CDL. I haven't driven a big rig in over 2 years. 2023. Yeah, 2.5 years or whatever. I do still have my CDL. It's still good. I could go back into it if I so desired, but I really don't desire. I've lost the desire, I think. How about you, Mark Krasner? Are you a trucker? Are you a driver? West Webb, I have a peach tree that is overloaded. Start making that peach cobbler, man. I don't even know how to make peach cobbler myself. Like, it's so easy. Yeah, Roxanne Epstein, President of the United States. I think I remember that song. Yeah. It's kind of a cool little ditty. It's a cool little ditty. Look, Dragon, I love sending embarrassing pictures of myself. No dicks allowed. Alrighty, that's probably a good policy to have. Michael McAndrews, the maple overran my apple tree, and my apple tree is the way of my wife's thimbleberries. I don't even know what a thimbleberry is. If truth be known. If the truth be known, I don't even know what a thimbleberry is. I'm not even sure if I've ever. I mean, I wonder if I've had one unknowingly. Wes Webb with 5 Trucker John gift memberships. Thank you, Wes Webb. Yippee, going out to Wes Webb. Thank you very much. Those are always fun. It is a great way to help the show and help us grow. And we've got Mark Sanderstrom received one. Denise Wilkins, who I've seen before in here. Matt. Tizzy Tisdale. See, I was 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be a 5th one. I don't see the 5th one. That's weird. Maybe the 5th one just said "fuck you" or something. I don't know. Well, I see 4. I see Mark Sandstrom, Denise Wilkins, Matt, and Tizzy Tisdale. So thank you for that, Wes. I do appreciate it very, very much. And hopefully those folks will come on in. Denise has been here before. I've seen Denise quite often. I don't think I've seen Mark Sandstrom or Matt or Tizzy Tisdale. So hopefully they'll come on in and say hello, and maybe we'll make a new friend. That 5th one's got to pop up somewhere. I don't even see the 5th one, but Mark Krasner, I looked up pics of poisonous and non-poisonous mushrooms. Same pics, laughing out loud. Well, that makes it kind of scary. Like, if you're going to eat mushrooms, how do you know if it's not poisonous or not? Brooklyn SKJ, I mean SJUK Crystal Rue says there's a new Naked Gun movie with Liam Neeson. Yeah, I think I saw a part of a trailer or the trailer for it. It looked kind of funny. There was a part. Now I know people probably I don't know what your feelings are on the movie, but I saw the trailer. I think I saw the trailer when I went and saw the Superman movie. And there was a part in that trailer that I actually did like burst out laughing out loud. So take that for what it is. I don't know if it's a good movie or a funny movie, but there was a part in that trailer that I actually burst out laughing out loud. Big Hook, Mission Impossible. I know Peter Graves was Mission Impossible, but he was also I think he was the pilot in Airplane, the one that with the line like, "Do you watch Gladiator movies?" And it was it was out of line. I mean he was basically kind of like, would you say hitting on this child? But at the time, and it still strikes me as funny, but because of the way the deadpan delivery, but it's a sickening thing, right? But it was funny, So I don't know. Anyhow, Mark Krasner says, "Is 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon David Hogg?" That's funny because Hogg and Bacon. MJ Daniel Peter Graves, he was a bit pervy with Joey there. Still got to laugh. Yeah, it's still funny, but it shouldn't be it certainly isn't a funny or acceptable thing. But I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Nick Rich only 20 off minutes behind Big Hook. Big Hook. It is 1 p.m. I don't know. Is anyone coming on? Is Boston Brian coming on now, or you guys want to raid? If BB's coming on now, do we want to raid? Do we want to do a raid or anything like that? Jolie with 5. Jolie, yippee to Jolie. Got 5 Trucker John memberships, gift memberships. You got this 00 Govan 00. Got one. Damon A. Another Damon. Not to be confused with the big dog, but we got Damon A. in there. Jeffrey McCoy of the McCoy clan. Timo. And Jolie. Not to be confused with Jolie, but we got Jolie. Thank you. So thank you, Jolie. Yippee to you. Look at there. Hopefully those folks will come in and hang out with us for a little bit. And maybe they'll just fall in love with y'all in the chat and we'll never leave. Yeah, I am skipping down. We got Marsha with a gift membership. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you so much. Yippee out to Marsha. Sent out a gift membership, and Janice S. received that. So, Janice S., if you ever come in here, we hope to see you. We'd love to see you come on in. I am kind of just going down the chat because we are just about ready to show. And I don't know if I wanted to see if I don't know if someone could check if BB's coming on. I forget if he comes on now or is it on Sundays. I forget. But if he is, maybe we should do a raid over there and do that thing. But I am skipping down in the chats. Nevertheless, Ozolda Zen, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Ozolda Zen. Yippee, going out to you. Ozolda Zen says, I hope they all go to jail after the midterms. Me too. Me too. Mark Krasner, Ketchum, Idaho. We have another, I don't know, I didn't see if you were a driver or not because I skipped. But we have Paul. What's Paul's name? But he's an Idaho truck driver. By the way. Michael McAndrews, $2 super chat. Thank you, Michael McAndrews. Yippee, going out to Michael McAndrews. Me too, Zen. Yeah. I hope all those fuckers go to jail, prison. West Webb, Semites are all Arabs. Mark Krasner, Larry Ellison is a MAGA ultra-Zionist. He is Jewish. One of those, like, self-hating Jews, I guess, maybe, kind of, sort of. Mark Krasner, Ellison owns a massive Hawaiian island that is so big it once supplied the entire USA with pineapples. Wow. And Brooklyn, Chicxulub, laugh out loud, Denise. You can call me Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn! Yeah, there's Denise Wilkins. There's Denise. Hello, Denise. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I'm just skipping down. There's Walter Makarovich. Hey, Walter. Good to see you. Says, hey, Trucker John. Good day to you. Do you happen to see Texas Paul's video today called From the Heart? It's funny how life works because what he said in his short video I seen today is super. I did not see that. I have not seen it, but I will look for it. But thanks, Walter, for being here. Jolie says, spoiler alert, I never need to hear Trucker John say titties again. And yes, I use spoiler alert wrong just to annoy you. Big Politics Joel has a very powerful shirt called Wake Up, emphasizing how everything has now gone to shit while Trump goes on living his charmed life, on golfing while fucking the country up. Protest. Yeah, Politics Girl, she's really good. She's amazing. Wes Webb, all original fixtures. Yeah, that shit needs to be changed out, Wes. You need to change that shit out, man. There's Janelle Walker. Hello, Janelle. Good to see you. David Windler, drive-ins. We need them. I love drive-ins. Big Hook. I think Wes is wanting to be called a peachy keener. Oh, I get it. And I'm skipping down, guys. I'm needle dropping and skipping down because we're just about the end. Nick Rich, 1 o'clock. Now I'm 5 minutes behind. I've done so much skipping down and needle dropping. I'm only 5 minutes behind. Mark Krasner, I never thought Pam Anderson would look natural and good as she got older, but she does. Good for her. Marcia says, thank you. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you for being here and for your support and all you do for this show. Mark Krasner, 86 Heart 47. Not sure what that means. Because I'm mid-thread and I'm needle dropping. Wes Webb says Chuck Mangione and Cleo Lane died. I think they go with Ozzy. There is going to be a third to go with Malcolm and Terry Hogan. Okay. Mark Krasner, Las Vegas used to have free parking at casino parking lots. I think they need that again. Yeah, they're almost all paid parking now. Treasure Island still has free parking. Resorts World has some free parking, or sometimes they do specials when they do it at certain times. Like, Marcia says Boston Bryan should be going on tomorrow. Okay. Is it tomorrow? Okay. So I guess I don't need to hurry through this then. Paul Krasner, Paul Hogan is on his last days according to him. I guess that was the Australian guy, right? He's getting up there. Gary says, I heard Willie Nelson died this morning. It was a hit and run. He was playing on the road again. I guess that's a joke. That's got to be a joke, right? Not a very funny one at that. The Soulcraft says, at the drive-in, good band, only one record. It's half of what became the Mars Volta. Now, at the drive-in, I don't think I've ever heard of them. The Mars Volta, they've got that one really great song that I know of. I mean, they might have other great songs, but they had that one great song. What was it like? The Black Widow or Black something, whatever it was. And that's an awesome song. I downloaded it, had it on my playlist. Really great song, but that's all I know of Mars Volta. The Mars Volta. David Dog says, show Boston Bryan and family some love if you get a chance. Marcia says, oh, that's right, David Dog. Brian's uncle passed away. Maybe no show. Nick Rich, John caught up. So, yeah, let's see. What's on. Again, I see Dan Anderson, the man Shredder on. I sent you guys there yesterday, and apparently it was over. But yeah, I don't see Boston Brian on today or on right now. So I guess he's not on. Yeah, I guess he regularly comes on on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So tomorrow, when you go, we'll do a delayed Trigger John raid. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. when you guys all go over to see Brian, just say this is Trigger John raid from yesterday or something like that. I don't know. I think that would be funny. That would be kind of funny. Marsha says goodbye for now. Everybody have a good weekend. You too, Marsha. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the support. And we'll see you on the next one, which should be, for me, Monday. Big Hook, the Big Canuck says, considering comedians are now the truth tellers as mainstream media are being bought up by conservative asshole billionaires who are bending to the will of the dictator, want to be along with the Project 2025 shows. Yeah, it's like, who are the real legitimate, besides comedians, like, who are the real truth tellers these days? Besides Trucker John and Hal Sparks and Bros and Brian. I guess that's where it is. I mean, but like in the mainstream media, I mean, it is like we were talking about network and how these news shows really aren't news shows anymore. They're just entertainment shows. It's about entertainment, or it's about, I think in the case of like a Fox News and certainly like Newsmax, those are really about propaganda and brainwashing. So it's hard. It is. I will. Granted, it is a bit hard to get the real truth, to find the truth, but it can be done. But maybe that's why we have so many people that don't vote or they vote for a Trump, because all they hear are little blurbs and little headlines, and so we got to break through that. We really got to break through that, man. Gary kind of call Gary when TJ catches up, the show's over, pretty much, I think. But it took me 2 hours to get caught up, so and I usually do about a 2-hour show, and here we are at 2:02. Nick Rich, some folks actually have plans other than live streams for the day. Okay, Nick Rich, I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that one, Nick Rich. Belfast Bell, the tortoise overtakes the rabbit, laughing out loud. Trump Whoppers, I don't feel tardy. Hello, Trump Whoppers. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Don't think I've ever seen that your name in here before, so thanks for joining us. David Dahl, y'all take care. Jolie says Polypolitics just went live too. So if you guys want to raid Polypolitics, I don't think I've ever seen Polypolitics, but we could do that if you guys want to do that. If you're a want to do that. Nick Rich, Minus Touch does amazing work. Yeah, they're good. They're very good. Michael McAndrews, is Trumpy in prison? If not, then there is obviously something wrong. Yeah, I know. He should have been in prison probably 10 years ago. Wes Webb, I have a steak and grill and cheesy potatoes are already made. Probably should eat something green. Yeah, throw some greens in there. Belfast Bob, by TJ Chat, and of course mods. I love all stay safe and sound. Thanks, Bob. Belfast Bob, if you're still here, thanks so much. And we'll see you on the next one. Mark Krasner says Phil Ittner is live on Slava YouTube show now. Ittner's doing live? He's doing a live show? If he is, we could do that. We could go raid Ittner, I guess. Jordan Walker raid who? Jolie says Polypolitics debates Trump supporters. Well, okay, guys. I guess I'll leave it up to you guys who you want to go jump over to, or if you got other stuff to do, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, best you can, and I'll see you guys on Monday at 11 a.m. right after House Sparks on Monday, and I guess that's about it. I could look at let's go over and look at the fan funding we got today, and I'll give out little shout outs. Thank you guys all. Yippee to West Webb, $1.11 super chat. A yippee to Belfast Bob, who sent out 5 Trigger John gift memberships. Yippee to West Webb, who also sent 5 Trigger John memberships. Yippee to Jolie, who sent 5 Trigger John gift memberships. So we got 15, and then Marcia sent out 1. So we got 16 gift memberships sent out today. Thank you guys so much. That is very important. It helps us grow the show, and maybe people come in and hang out, and if they like us, they'll stay. Maybe. Azola's in with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Azola, and Michael McAndrews $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Michael. You guys are awesome. Well, just looking at the top fans, it looks like Wes Webb number 1, Michael McAndrews number 2. I think Damon Dog, the big dog, number 3. Belfast Bob coming in at number 4. MJ Daniel 5. Rosanna, number 6. The Soulcraft, number 7. Nick Rich is number 8. Roxanne, I believe that's Epstein, number 9. And coming in, rounding out the top 10 is Jolie. All right, you guys are awesome. Thanks for being in the leaderboard there. I really didn't mean to do that. I was trying to get back to all chat. Or all messages, I mean. All right, guys. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Joey says, I timed Mike out just for kicks. See you next time, Mike. West Webb, 2 more super chats needed in 2 minutes. Yeah, we're down to 1:36. Maybe I'll wait 1:31 just to see what happens. We have 46 watching, 73 thumbs up. So like the good Democrats that I believe we all are, we are at an extreme surplus. You guys did great. You guys did great. You fired up all your sock puppet accounts and gave me two thumbs up. Anyhow, thanks for that. You guys are awesome. Michael McAndrews, $2 super chat might work. Thank you, Michael McAndrews. Yippee! Going out to Michael McAndrews. Was that number 4? Because now I'm just seeing the clock. I'm not seeing the. Well, let's see if I push it. There's a little clock running down there. Oh yeah, we need 1 more. Just need 1 more. They went on 21st. Diane, are they coming on right now? Are suffragists coming on now, or are they a little bit later? Are they a little bit later on in the program or in the day? I think they might come on at 2 my time. The upcoming. Oh, this says there's a Zoom watch party tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. 6 o'clock my time. That's what I see for the suffragettes. 21st century suffragettes. TV Live 2? Looks like TV Live 2's on. Maybe not. Well, that says live. 1 watching midterm election countdown. I think he just runs a countdown clock to the midterms. So if you guys want to go check that out. Anyhow, let me go back to here. Oh, look at there. We got it. 5 for 5. Thank you so much. I think we went over now, you guys. We got Michael McAndrews, $1 super chat. Thank you so much. Yippee. Another yippee going out to Michael McAndrews. And then Wes Webb with $1.11 closing us out. Thank you so much, Wes Webb. Yippee going out. I said I would shout yippee, so I shouted yippee. That's the deal. Okay, so here we are. All messages. Let's go over there. All right, guys. I guess that's it for now, for today. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the new people that are here. If you're here watching or lurking or you popped in, I hope you guys come back. We'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and then Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And then Wednesday 11, Thursday 9, Friday 11, Saturday 11. So that's how it kind of goes. And we just basically, I'm the chat reader. I'm Trucker John, the chat reader. Someone said that was a niche. That was my own personal niche, and that I should not stop doing it. So there. All right, guys. But also another thing we do on the show is we're always in the show with the words of wisdom, because besides reading chats, I also, in my 64 and a half years or more than that now of being on this planet, I've attained some wisdom. So I always like to, in the show, to part with some words of wisdom, and a lot of people like to write them down. So for the new folks here, if you're new, go get a pad to write on. Get your pen, your paper, and all that stuff. Get ready for today's words of wisdom. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. So today's words of wisdom are as such.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. All screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where right here on the Trucker John live stream. Know it's time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Trucker John, on the road he rides, live streaming all through the nights. From politics to pop culture he speaks. No topic is off limits, nothing is weak. From Vegas to the highways, he'll never tire. Shouting about food, talking about desire. He's the rebel of the asphalt, the king of the night. With a microphone in his hand, he's ready to ignite. Freedom is his fuel, passion in his soul. Gotta express himself, gotta take control. portrait, keeping it real, no filter, no holding back, nothing to conceal. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep, broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. For free.